All right, let's see here. Oh, got the fabric, good. Got my paint. This is gonna be great. Oh, now all we need is Pastor Steve to show up with that paintbrush, and I can finish that gift for him.
I just hope Pastor Steve doesn't forget he was supposed to meet me down here.
Hey Al, you down here? Oh, good. Sorry, I completely forgot I was supposed to meet you. Oh, and you wanted me to bring something with me. What was it? Paintbrush. Oh, I'm sorry. Is it okay for me to sit down here anyway, even though I forgot the paintbrush, Al?
Well, sure. Come on down and sit down, Pastor Steve.
Thanks, Al.
Yeah, it's all right, Pastor Steve. I probably have a spare a paintbrush over there in my flamingo paintbrush jar, and it's all right even if you got empty hands. We could still do what I promised you. All right?
Oh, thanks, Al. I'm sorry I was so absent-minded forgetting the paintbrush. You would even ask me to get it. I'll just grab one from here, okay? Now, I can't wait to see why I needed to come down here to the basement art area and dressing, you said to bring my paintiest shirt, so here I'm in messy clothes. I can't wait to see how this is going to help me understand that Bible story I was so confused about.
Oh, you'll see, Pastor Steve.
Right, well, you wanted to know about Abraham and Sarah, right?
Right, that's the story. I need someone who can explain it to me. The story about those ancestors in the faith and about what happened. And I know God called them somehow, and I know that eventually they had a child, but I don't understand what it means. And I thought maybe you could help me out. But again, I don't remember any part about them going down into a dust bunny filled basement.
Well, hold on there just a minute there, Pastor Steve. This is your basement after all, so if you're upset about dust bunnies and cobwebs, well, I suggest that, you get to clean in your own space. I just thought this would be a good place for me to show you about what the story of Abraham and Sarah and God's covenant with them works like, because I thought it would be best to do it with an art project. I know you like art, so I thought maybe that might hold your attention instead of you getting, distracted with shiny things.
Well, yeah, I really do want to understand this Bible story, and that word you use, covenant, it's confusing to me. So if you think somehow an art project will help me understand how this Bible story works and what the word covenant means, I would love it. Go ahead, show me. Here's a paintbrush I grabbed for you.
Okay, Pastor Steve, how about this? Before we go any further with the Bible story, I'm going to make you a promise. I'm going to make you a present, and by the time we're all done here today, I'm going to have something to give to you. All right?
Wow, a bonus present for me, and I get to learn about this Bible story that's been troubling me so much. That sounds great. Yeah, let's get to it.
Mm-hmm. All right, art project. Okay, I got this purple fabric, and I thought I would add some blue dots to it. So I'm just gonna get my paintbrush here, and I'm gonna just add some blue dots. I think right there, and there. Might need to add some more paint. And there. That's how it's gonna start this way. Right, so let's add some more blue dots. I think I want to put some more here, and you can see how that's starting to show up real nice. All right, okay, Al. I'm not really sure I understand what you're doing, but just trust me on this. All right, we're just adding more blue dots. Oh, I think I want to put some on this other side too. All right, let's see. Oh, that's gonna look nice.
Okay, I mean, I can really see you're going to town, putting all those blue dots on there, but I still don't understand what you're doing. I thought you were going to be teaching me a Bible story, and I think it's nice and all that you're wanting to give me a present too, but I really don't understand how any of this all fits together.
I know it's tough, Pastor Steve. It's hard to wait sometimes, and I know it's hard to be patient, especially when you're waiting for something and you don't know how it's going to happen. So right now, I'm just going to ask you to keep being patient and to trust me. Do you trust me, Pastor Steve?
Well, sure, Al. I trust you. I do. I trust you.
Okay, then the next step is to let me add some white dots. Watch this. Gonna add one there, and I think we'll put one there. Let's add some more red. There, and there. Just keep on adding some dots right there. Oh, there another one, and there. Oh, let's put two together. How you holding up there, Pastor Steve?
Gotta tell you, Al, I'm still pretty confused. I'm waiting. I'm trying to be as patient as I can, Al. But, I don't know. It doesn't look like people. It doesn't look like Abraham or Sarah. To me, it looks like the stars in the night sky.
Well, that's exactly right, Pastor Steve. It's supposed to look like the stars in the sky. And in fact, that is part of the story. Maybe you didn't know that detail. Maybe you forgot it. But let me tell you about how the stars in the sky, as many as there are, what they have to do with the story of Abraham and Sarah.
Okay, Al, please tell me. What do the stars in the sky have to do with Abraham and Sarah and that difficult word, was it covenant? Help me out.
Well, okay, let's start at the very beginning, all right? So, long time ago, there was a man named Abram, and he had a wife named Sarai, and they had no children at all, and they were very old. Like, they might be as old as, like, your great-great-grandma or great-great-grandpa. Like, they were already, like, 90 or 100 years old. And God said to them out of nowhere, "Hey, Abram, I'm giving you a new name. You're going to be Abraham, and your wife will be Sarah instead of Sarai, and I'm going to give you something, a free gift. Out of nowhere, here's the gift I'm going to give you. I'm going to give you a child, and I'm going to give you a homeland that you all can live on, and I'm going to bless you, and I'm going to bless all people on earth through you and through your child."
Okay, I'm with you so far. Abraham, Sarah, and they're gonna have a child because God promises. Okay, I'm with you so far.
Right. Well, God doesn't just say you'll have one child. God says, Abraham and Sarah, your one child's going to have so many descendants through them that one day it'll be as many as there are stars in the sky will be your descendants. Your family's going to be that big, as many as in the stars in the sky. And God said, it's just a free gift. I'm just going to do it for you because I love you. I'm going to bless you and do good things for everybody just as a free gift.
Wow, that sounds great. But I don't understand where is that C word again? Covenant again, was it? Where does that fit in?
Well, covenant's just a sort of a fancy word for promise, after all. And before God could actually give them a child or they could have all those descendants, all they had to go on was a promise. And in that time, between when God made the promise and when God kept the promise, well, they had to be patient. They had to trust that God was going to come through and do what God had promised. And you know, Pastor Steve, that can be hard. Even when you trust someone, it can be hard to wait for them to keep their promise.
Yeah, I really do, Al. I mean, like, I trust you. I told you I trusted you, but it's been hard waiting and watching while you've been just painting dots, and all of a sudden then they start looking like the stars in the sky, and is this what you were up to all along, Al?
Yeah, Pastor Steve, you figured me out. You did. Yep, I thought the best way to teach you about what it's like to wait for a promise to be kept was to make you wait for a promise to be kept. And maybe you learned a little bit. I mean, just waiting a few minutes while I was painting dots, but you didn't know what I was doing. That maybe you could feel what it was like for Abraham and Sarah when they heard God make the promise, I'll give you descendants and a child and blessing for all people. But they were waiting and waiting and waiting and wondering when it was going to happen. And they had to decide, do we really trust God or not? And what do you know? God came through.
Okay, so that big, fancy, kind of scary sounding word covenant, it's not anything complicated. That's just a word for promise. And God promised Abraham and Sarah that they would have a child, and then that child would lead to many, many, many great, 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 great grandchildren, as many as the stars in the sky, right? And they had to just wait and trust God. They had to have faith that God was going to do what God had promised, huh? Kind of like I've been waiting for you, and since I trust you to keep a promise, I could wait, knowing that even if I didn't understand it, you were going to come through.
Yeah, you got it, Pastor Steve. I wanted you to understand what it feels like to have to trust somebody. And even though you don't have to do anything else, just trust. Even that can be hard. For Abraham and Sarah, it was hard. They had to wait a long time for God's promises. But God's promises, as you know, always come true. God always keeps God's promises. Sometimes all we have to do is just trust and wait and see how God comes through. So, actually, that reminds me, I promised you something at the beginning of our time today, not just to, paint a picture for you and try and explain that Bible story to you. I promised you a bonus present, didn't I?
Well, I mean, I didn't even expect a present, Al. I mean, I am just so thankful that you helped explain this story and that word covenant for me. But, yeah, I mean, I guess you did say that you had a present for me. Are we supposed to go somewhere else to get it?
No, Pastor Steve, it's right here. This is for you. I made this for you, and you got to watch it happen. I made it for you because I wanted you to be able to remember the story of God's promise and how God promised Abraham and Sarah all those descendants, as many as the stars in the sky. And I painted it for you, not just on a plain strip of fabric, but this is a stole like a pastor could wear. And then sometime you could wear this and help you to remember the story of how God promised Abraham and Sarah have all those descendants, as many as the stars in the sky. And maybe you'd remember too that all we're called to do is to trust and believe and wait in God's promise to be kept.
Oh, Al, this is so kind of you. I wasn't expecting this at all. That's so kind of you. And you have given me so many things today. You taught me the story to understand not just what happened with Abraham and Sarah, but what it must have felt like to wait and to trust somebody else who promised you that they were going to do something. And you helped me understand that, and to give me this gift like this when all I had to do was just show up and be here. That's so kind of you, Al. You've really helped me understand something about God. Thank you so much. How can I ever repay you, Al?
Oh, Pastor Steve, you know you don't have to repay me. That's not how this works, right? In the family of God, we do things by grace. That means a free gift is a free gift. But I tell you what, how about we do this like what happened with Abraham and Sarah? God blessed them. God gave them a gift of children and descendants and a land and blessing so that they'd be a blessing for everybody else on earth. So how about this? You just pass it along. If I've done something that was good for you, what if you find a way to use it to be kind to somebody else, to show somebody else who maybe needs this story? Or maybe you pass along the blessing and be kind to somebody else. Not because you have to earn it, but that's just how it works in God's family. God blesses us so that we can be a blessing for other people. How about it? What do you say? Would you be a blessing for somebody else today, Pastor Steve?
You bet, Al. I can't wait to be a blessing for somebody else because you made this awesome stole for me. Oh, but I think first I'm going to go wash my hands. I really shouldn't have touched that yet. The paint is still wet.
Yeah, that's probably a good idea there, Pastor Steve. You might have think, being a grown-up and being around as long as you have, you would know not to touch wet paint. But, all right, I suppose God can work with even you there, Pastor Steve. Yeah, so maybe a good lesson for all of us today is just that. Go be a blessing for other people as you trust God. And please, go wash any paint off your hands. See you later, everybody.